welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is the Olajumoke Bolao. If this is your first time on my channel, I want to say a warm welcome to you. And if this is not your first time, you've liked, you've shared, you subscribed, you've told a friend to subscribe, you smashed the notification button, and you've dropped a comment, guys, you've got my heart, and I really want to say thank you.
You're the real deal.
Yes. So on today's video, I've got with me some very special people, you know, my children and my sweet husband on today's video. So I brought them here to ask them some questions so you can hear from them directly and not me reiterating whatever their thoughts are, you know, and I will be asking them questions. I've told them to be as truthful as possible, you know, in answering these questions. So we're just going to dive straight into the questions and they will be answering as truthful as possible. My first question will be, what is the difference, you know, schooling way back in Nigeria and schooling since you got here? What can you tell me? What are the differences that you've noticed?
Well, there are some subjects that we didn't do in Nigeria, like PSHE and RE, and we didn't do practical activities like in science, and we never did DT and things like that.
All right.
Well, everything is different. The structure, the timetable, the subjects we do. Like in Nigeria, the PE we didn't do practicals. It was practically theory. But here, everything we do is practical. We play the sport itself. We didn't do cooking, woodwork, stuff like that. And the structure, like when you go to school, you first go to your tutor class. In Nigeria, the class you go to is the same one you'll be throughout the day. But here, you go to 6 different classes in a day. Everything is just different.
All right. So, Brian, what has it been like for you? School way back in Nigeria and now?
Well, in Nigeria, I never saw a biscuit squished, put in water, and then a banana squished, and then some juice poured on it and put into a socks. Extra long socks. The end of the socks being cut off, and then it's being squished to show the digestive system.
Wow.
Okay.
All
That
right.
was
Very nice. All right. Okay, so I want to ask you directly, which do you actually prefer? I mean, about the way of learning, which do you actually prefer?
Yeah. I prefer the structure of our learning better here than in Nigeria.
Why do you prefer?
Well, in Nigeria, everything is kind of boring. We just have to listen to the teachers talking all day. But here, we get to watch educational videos about it. We get to do tags. Like, we get to do different activities that have to do with our learning.
All right. So it's more interactive. Is that what you're saying? All right. Okay, so tell me, which do you prefer?
Here, because here we did a hunt for different clues, and when we found the clues, we had to use it to find the numbers that are kind of like on that you have to do the task that is on there to find the number, and then you now write down the numbers on the code, and then the person who gets the right code gets, and the person who gets the highest number, the team who gets the highest number of pieces correct, they now get a prize. Oh. And when we did it, 2 teams won, and my team was one.
I knew you were driving at getting a prize, you know, and I get that. Definitely. Okay, but what I'm saying is, which way of learning do you prefer? Do you prefer the way you were learning back in Nigeria, or do you prefer how you're being taught here?
Here, because we get to do different things, and also we get to do we get to do different things, and sometimes we get to do things for prizes.
All right. Okay, so Jessica, which would you prefer? Like you said before, that here you have to go to about 6 different classrooms. Which way of learning do you actually prefer? Is it the one where you were in one class, and then the way you learned, are you learning better here, or tell me about it?
Well, I prefer here.
Why?
Learning is quite different. Sometimes the teachers just get some Chromebooks and we get to work on our own, do some research work on the subject by ourselves. or sometimes we're put in different groups and we have to work together with our groups to create like a project. Then we go to the class and see it all out. And the assignments here are much more easier than the ones in Nigeria. Mostly because it's online and you can easily redo it over and over again till you get it.
All right. Okay. So I hope I'm not sensing that you guys are saying that is easier. That's why you like it. Or rather that you're learning better because of the ways you are being taught. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to ask you again, what do you think about the weather here?
Oh, that is a very easy question.
Okay.
Well, I think the weather here is absolutely terrible.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Absolutely terrible. How so?
Okay, well, first of all, if you listen very quietly, you will hear the wind outside. Too windy. No.
Too windy. But you've got summer just like you've got,
Yes, but in Nigeria, summer lasts longer. It is hotter. But here, it is too cold and everyone gets a cold. And then everyone has to wear too many clothes, which make you uncomfortable.
All right. So that's what you think. The weather is terrible.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think about the weather?
The weather is very, 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 very terrible.
Wow. That you have the same opinion with your sister. All right. So what do you think about the weather?
Because it's too rainy, too windy, and too cold.
You guys are ignoring the summer like it doesn't even exist at all.
Yes, there's barely
because-
one. It's a
What do you mean barely one? You had summer some months ago.
Yes, but when it's summer, it still rains a lot. And it
Yes,
gets cold
and it's
sometimes.
not that cold, that hot during summer. Because sometimes it's still as if we're still in the
Winter.
middle of winter. So
All right. So what's your own opinion? What do you think
Oh, I
about?
agree with both of them.
Gosh.
I prefer the weather here though.
You prefer the weather here?
how?
Yeah, because back home in Nigeria, I was spending too much on electricity, having to put on the AC all the time. I can remember you guys would leave your AC on almost all through the day, and that was really hitting in. But here I don't need AC, it's just natural AC. Very cool and all that.
So from the financial aspect of things, you're telling me that this is more economical, right?
Well, not all the time though, because heating is also quite expensive. But the fact that back home it's almost all the time you're in, the AC is on, in the office it's on, and but I think I just feel a bit more calmer with the cold weather because I can't stand heat at all. And anytime I'm in a very warm place, I feel very uncomfortable. Yeah, but if I'm cold here, I just, wear layer ups or something,
We prefer heat.
All right. Okay, so I will go to my next question. We've lived all our lives, way back in Nigeria where we've had to have domestic helps. And, moving back here, we've not had that privilege of having any help. How do you find the change from having help to having no help and being the help yourselves? How do you find that?
Well, I think in Nigeria it was a bit easier because the only thing we had to do was clean our rooms and sometimes help with the food making. But here now we have to help doing absolutely everything. And it's very tiring, especially on Saturdays when the house has been very messy all week. And we all have to start tidying up and I have to wake up earlier so I can tidy up. And then, by the end of the day, guess what? It's messy again.
Because you guys make it messy.
Who messes it up again? So what do you think?
I think it's harder here because on Saturday we have to tidy up the whole house and doing it all the time. And Elizabeth all the time she's saying, "Leave me alone. I want to sleep." Hey, I'm right here,
Yeah. So what do you think? You being the eldest, I know, but I don't want to speak for you. So tell us, what do you think?
Well, I think it's harder than in Nigeria because here Elizabeth and Brian don't really like to do anything here.
Hey, that's
So,
not true. you don't like to do anything. You're always telling me to do what you're meant
Are we supposed
to do.
to argue on it?
You're always telling me what you're supposed to do. To do what you're supposed to do. And you're always trying to bribe me.
Okay. So that aspect of not having help is difficult for everyone, but we have to get by. When you tidy up a place, you mess it up yourselves. So it's a continuous circle. Every day, it goes on like that. I know it's quite hard, but we're getting by, aren't we?
No, not one.
Well, we will eventually get by, even if you're not getting by just yet, but we will eventually get by. All right. What do you think about the food way back in Nigeria and here?
Well, I think that there are lots more options of what to eat here than in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, you mostly eat like poundo, salad, rice, those kind of things. But here you get all kind of different things, different shops, and well, there are some foods here that taste really gross, and I can't even think why people invented them. But otherwise, it's all good.
All right. So, Brian, what do you think about the food here?
It's sometimes great, but when I went to Mr. Barria's, and I tried the sushi, I felt like I was about to vomit. I don't know who invented sushi, but they should uninvent it.
Okay, by the way, what he meant to say was sushi. And he said they should uninvent it. Well, I'm sure a lot of people would.
Yeah, the people who like sushi. It's food particular to a particular.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not for everyone. So tell me, what do you think about the food here compared to Nigeria? Do you find the food, here much better? What do you think? Tell me.
I prefer in Nigeria.
For real?
Yes, it's much more cheaper to get it, so Daddy does not have to say we
spend
can't
money.
have plantain
Oh,
because
okay.
of things like that.
Okay, that's because plantain is expensive. There are some things that are expensive and some things are very cheap, and so you prefer food back home in Nigeria to here.
Yes, I even miss Hamarita or Yamarita.
Oh, you miss your marita?
Me too.
From Mega Chicken. Oh, come on. Now you're making me miss it as well.
I'm
Okay, so let's
hungry.
go on to the next question. So I want to ask you, how has it been like blending into the system here, making friends? How has it been like, for you? Do you find it easier here? Will you say that you're blending well? Will you tell me that you don't get bullied in school, or you don't? Tell me what it's like for you, really.
At the start of year 5, when I first joined, some people were mean to me, some people didn't like me, but now I would say that I have blended in very well and I have lots of friends now.
Okay, so how did you handle the bullying part?
I just told the
It's not
teacher.
bullying. She just said they didn't like her.
Oh, they didn't like you. It wasn't like you were being bullied.
Well, I was by some of the boys, but then I told the teacher and it stopped.
All right, that's very good. I'm glad that your teacher stepped in. So tell me, what has it been like for you?
Easy. When I stepped into the class, everybody wanted to be friends with me. Then later, some people got bored and went back to their old friends in the other class. And then wait.
All right, so if you say that it was easier when you first got there, maybe some of your attitudes are not aligning with theirs. That's why they went back to their old friends, right? Am I saying something?
No.
Okay,
They just wanted to go back to their old
Okay,
friends.
because I can tell, Brian, for a fact that I felt that you were playing too rough in some ways, and I think that the people here are not used to some of your kind of plays, and that kind of caused a friction. Maybe you were too playful, or the kind of plays you used to engage with, they didn't kind of gel with it. Maybe that was part of the reasons. That's my opinion, right? Okay, so tell me, how has it been like for you? I know that you're not the very outspoken type, but how has it been like making friends blending in with people, speaking to people? I remember always asking you, have you made friends? Have you made friends? What has it been like for you?
And I can remember she was the one who said she wasn't coming to the UK then.
Because she was scared of starting all over again, leaving our old friends and all of that. So I really need you to come in on it for me. Tell me precisely and truthfully, how has it been? Has it been easy? Have you made friends? What has it been like for you?
Well, it was quite difficult because most of the classes were different. Like, you've been in one class, then a lot of people move to another class, and you don't know who is in this class and all of that stuff. Then everything was a bit confusing, so I couldn't really talk to people because I didn't get what most of them were saying and stuff like that.
Okay, are you talking about the phonetics now?
Yeah,
The British accent?
Yes, accents, and I didn't know what they were talking about. Like, there were some things I really didn't know about them.
Like Fortnite.
Okay, so like not being able to contribute to discussions was an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so but how has it been now? Is it better?
Well, yes, I'm quite used to it now, and I know some people in some classes.
Okay.
Like my sciences, maths, English, almost all of us that are in the same class together. So I'm quite used to it.
Okay, so it's better now. Okay, so it takes some time for you to be able to blend in, and when you eventually blend in, it gets better, right? Okay,
Yes,
you wanted to say
also I-
something. Hold on, please.
Yes, and I still find it difficult to contribute to discussions because there are loads of things that they talk about that I don't know, like movies they've seen or places they've been to and different things.
Okay, so the kind of movies you used to watch back in Nigeria, they are quite different from what your age mates here watch.
Yes.
All right. So do you think that what your age mates but now that you've kind of acclimatized, have you been watching the kind of things that they watch now? Do you watch them now?
Well, some of them, but most of them I can't find or
Assess
I
them
just-
on the
yeah.
all right. I want to ask my husband, my honorable husband, a question. So babe, back home in Nigeria, you were doing your thing business wise, you were your own boss, you never worked for one day, and then we got here and as a start off you had to get a job. How has it been, like the experience from having never worked for anyone way back in Nigeria for many years and then getting here and having to take up a job? How has it been like for you?
Difficult, challenging, but basically a sacrifice I just had to take, because the truth is, no matter the amount of money you travel with would get exhausted someday. Business needs a lot of networking, and so you just can't also come in and dive into business. You need sustenance, you need a living, and I just had to. In fact, it wasn't something I had to think of. I knew definitely that I needed to pick up a job. I can remember one day working, and then I just looked and smiled, just flashing, having flashback at home when I'll just call somebody, you do this, you do this, you do this. But then even now baking, and having to make cakes for someone or the other, and back home I don't even do them myself. I just instruct people on what to do, and they get it done. But it's a new reality, and I must say that I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I've blended well, and I've got no regrets.
Okay, so this is for people who usually say never, and this is exactly what it means when they say never, because if anyone had probably told him that he's going to work, take up a job, he would have said never, but here we are. He's taken up a job and he's doing excellently well at it, and life goes on, until there's a pathway for full-time business again, and I want to ask you another thing, babe. How has life here impacted relationships between the entire family? Do you have more time for family here, or way back in Nigeria you had more time?
It's a two-way thing, really. I think the kids are probably the ones who could answer this better, because I could remember back home, despite having my own business, there were periods where it could be very busy, having to travel from one state to another. There are times I probably on a trip for 2 3 weeks, so it's not like I'm always available back home as well. But then I could remember we always have maybe lunch out of the house on Sundays and so on. Here it's different in that if you don't work, you don't earn, so
No work, no pay.
you've just got to put in the hours, otherwise you actually don't earn money. And I had to work a lot more to earn more money. But then making out time for your family equally matters a lot. But then I think it's just a two-way thing, really. I wouldn't say I have more time here than I did back home, because back home I could just decide not to work for an entire month and I'll be home all through that month. But I definitely can't try it here. No.
Okay, so lastly, I want to ask about Christmas. I think this is our second Christmas here, so what has it been like, Christmas here in the UK and Christmas way back in Nigeria? Tell me, what difference is it? How different is it,
I will say there's a little big difference.
A little big difference. Such a classification. Is it a big difference or a little difference?
Both.
Okay, explain to us.
Well, in Nigeria, we always do like a secret Santa that is not very secret. We pick a name out of a hat, or just put it on the floor, and we pick a name, and whoever is on that name, you have to buy a present for Christmas. And we all go shopping together as a family to get you the present. And yes, and you put it under the tree on Boxing Day, you open your presents. But now that we're here in the UK, we get a lot more presents from family. We have more family here than we had in Nigeria. And we get to have like family dinners and interact with other.
And that makes it way better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian.
All I need to say is 4 words.
Okay.
More money and presents.
Oh, wow, straight to the point. So here you get more money and you get more gifts, right? And so you love Christmas here. So tell me,
I
Jessica.
think it's mostly the same, but on a different scale.
Okay.
Like on Christmas Day, we go to Grandma and Grandpa's house and we spend the day with them.
And we eat plenty food.
We eat a lot of food. We eat a lot. Okay.
But here, we just spend it with each other. Then on Boxing Day, we spend it with family members. While in Nigeria, on Boxing Day, just spend it with each other.
Okay. All right. So, what do you think, babe, about Christmas?
It's a lot more fun here. You feel the Christmas atmosphere. It's different. You can tell already that there is Christmas. In Nigeria, 2 3 years 4 years back, it will be Christmas. You'll be asking yourself, is it Christmas yet? The only thing that you would make you have that feel of Christmas is because you are seeing people selling chicken everywhere on every street and all that. So I think you really do have the real feel of Christmas here. Everywhere is well lit up. You've got fireworks everywhere. You've got Christmas music everywhere. Everywhere you turn to, you have that Christmas feel, unlike it is back home.
All right. I hope you have really had fun as much as I have had having my family with me on this particular video. And if you would like to see them again on my video, yes, I want you to give, a thumbs up or, put a comment, down below, and we will be back. If you really enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe.
And
And
smash that
notification bell.
And don't forget to leave a comment.
all right, you've heard
It's
it.
free. Just subscribe. Hit the subscribe button now. Just do it now. Now.
We know you
Thank
haven't done it
you.
yet.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being on my video. Thank you, my honorable husband and children. I love you all. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this video. See you again in my next video. Bye.